So let's talk about Blue Apron. It's basically this meal kit delivery service, kind of like HelloFresh, but they do things a bit differently. So they're all about making meals that are really good and super easy to make. Now, with me always working from home and my wife busy with her studies, finding the time to go grocery shopping is not easy, especially with my wife taking the car. So to be honest, that's actually why we decided to give Blue Apron a try for a couple of weeks. Now, I have to say that we had a good time trying it out, and the food was really good, but not everything was great. Like, they didn't have wild-caught salmon, and there weren't many vegan choices. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you all about our experience with Blue Apron. I'll talk about how the food tastes, how easy or hard it is to make the meals, what it costs, and the pros and cons as well. This way you can decide if Blue Apron is something you might want to check out. And if you're thinking about trying Blue Apron, you can check out the link in the description for a special discount that's even better than what they offer on their website. Alright, so now let's get into what Blue Apron actually is. To put it simply, Blue Apron is a meal kit delivery service. Basically, you get to choose the recipes you want to try from their website each week, and Blue Apron will send you all the ingredients you need to make them. They measure everything out perfectly, so you get the exact amount of each ingredient. And this was a huge plus because my wife no longer complains that the food is too spicy because I accidentally added too much pepper. Now, what's great about Blue Apron is that everything comes pre-portioned and you get these really clear step-by-step instructions. This means that even if you're pretty new to cooking, you won't have any trouble following along. Keep in mind that if you are not very good at cooking, it might take a little longer than they say it does to make the meals. But the good news is that the steps are very clear and easy enough for anyone to understand. So to give you an idea, let's talk about their honey mustard pork chops and Brussels sprouts. My wife and I decided to give this recipe a try, and I have to say that dinner was great, especially considering this was our first time cooking this dish. Honestly, it was as good as some of the fancy meals we've had at restaurants. And what made it special was not just the flavors, but how everything came together so well. The pork chops were juicy and soft, and the Brussels sprouts were crunchy and tasty at the same time. Now, one of the main reasons why Blue Apron's meals are so tasty is because of their meat quality. All their meats are 100% organic, GMO-free, and they make sure the farms they use don't allow hormones or antibiotics. The same goes for their product, which is also GMO-free, though it's not always fully organic. The cherry tomatoes we've got this week weren't organic. And when it comes to seafood, some of it, like the salmon and shrimp, is farmed, while others like tuna and cod are wild caught. So even though not everything is 100% organic, I've noticed that Blue Apron really tries to use as many organic ingredients as possible, more so than other meal kit services I've seen. Now let's talk about how Blue Apron sets everything up. First, you pick from one of the 5 meal kit preferences, such as chef favorites, wellness, family-friendly, fast and easy, or veggies. This basically sorts your recipes into categories. But remember, you can always choose any meal from any other category, no matter what preference you start with. Then you decide how many meals and servings you want each week. The plans offer either 2 or 4 servings per recipe, and you can go for 2 to 5 recipes per week. Now, the plan you pick is what Blue Apron will send you, but you can change your mind or add extras at any time. And after you've chosen your meals and servings, just put in your delivery and billing details. And if you ever need to skip a week or even pause or cancel your subscription, you can do that easily on their website. Now, this is what we chose to do with Blue Apron. So I basically ordered a variety of meals covering everything from breakfast and signature dishes to wellness meals, a dessert, and even some pre-cooked meals for quick heating. I wanted to see how these different types of meals compared to figure out if some categories were better than others. What I found was that almost everything tasted really good. The only item that wasn't as great was the caramel upside down cake, and I'll talk about that later on. So how did each meal taste? So the first recipe we tried was a lemon caper salmon and orzo with zucchini and bell pepper, and I have to say it was really tasty. The flavors were spot on and nicely balanced, making for a very enjoyable dish. My wife and I both really liked it, and it quickly became one of our favorite meals that we order every single week. The next meal we had was the gnocchi mac and cheese with spinach, mushrooms, and breadcrumbs. This was a hit for both of us. The texture was perfectly crispy, and the combination of flavors was special. Even for someone who's usually not a big fan of mushrooms, this dish was a winner and definitely on the list for a repeat meal. Now, my favorite dish was definitely the seared steaks and caper aioli. It's one of their standout dishes. The steak had a fantastic texture and flavor, cooked just to the right degree of medium rare, which is what we like. A big highlight for us was the caper aioli, which added a great twist to the dish. It complemented the roasted potatoes and kale beautifully, making the whole meal really memorable. The steak was so good that it tasted just like the steak we had when my wife and I went out on New Year's Eve. Okay, so the dessert we tried was the caramel upside down cake with raisins, figs, and walnuts. It was alright, but to be honest, it didn't quite match up to something you'd pick from a good bakery. This was the only recipe where the taste didn't seem to justify the time and effort put into making it. Then we tried the arugula salad with garlic croutons and lemon dressing. While it didn't stand out as much as some other dishes, it was still pretty tasty. It's definitely something I'd enjoy having again. We also tried the miso ginger chicken with sesame rice and roasted broccoli, and it was a total winner. The flavors were spot on with the miso and ginger, providing just the right amount of flavor without being too strong. The balance of ingredients was great, and each bite had a bit of everything, which made for a really satisfying meal. As for the pizza, we tried the 3-cheese pizza, and it was a pleasant surprise. It's definitely a step up from those gourmet frozen pizzas you find at high-end grocery stores, though not quite on par with a really good pizzeria. But you know what? It was a lot of fun for my wife and me to make pizza at home by ourselves. We both thought it tasted great, and we can see us cooking this again for those nights when we're in the mood for some homemade pizza. And for breakfast, we went with the homemade granola bowls with Greek yogurt and blueberries. These were good and super quick to assemble. The combination of the creamy Greek yogurt with the fresh blueberries and crunchy granola created a really tasty and refreshing start to our day. It's definitely a dish we'd enjoy having again for breakfast. We also tried a couple of Blue Apron's pre-cooked microwavable meals, and I have to say they were pretty good. It is definitely better than what you would get from the freezer at a fancy grocery store. Now, they weren't quite on the same level as Factor 75's meals in terms of flavor, but that's expected since Factor specializes in pre-cooked meals. Blue Apron, on the other hand, is more about top quality meal kits. Still, I found them quite comparable to Factor, which is saying something. And to be honest, I am really happy that the heat and eat options are good because they are the perfect option when I am short on time or just being lazy to cook. Now, I noticed that Blue Apron's recipes always have 1 or 2 ingredients that make you say, wow, that was good. So that's a standout feature for me. However, their recipes do have a few more ingredients and steps compared to other meal kits. But listen, I think it's really worth it, especially because you're eating really delicious food that's healthier than a lot of restaurant meals, and it's kind of boosting my cooking game. Now, let's not forget about the fun part. Cooking with my wife has been amazing. It's great to share that experience, see us both get better at cooking, and enjoy these new flavors together. It also feels like we have been taking a cooking course on our own. Just following these recipes and understanding the process has really upped our culinary skills. Plus, it's a great idea for a date night. Alright, so we've covered the food, but what about the rest of the experience? The delivery was amazing. I could track the delivery on their website, which was pretty handy. Everything arrived right on time, and thanks to the ice packs, all the items were kept at the perfect temperature. Now, when you open the box, the first thing you see are the recipe cards right on top. Below those, there are the produce and the knick-knack bags. These bags are great. They're labeled for each recipe and packed with all the smaller ingredients ingredients you need. The rest of the ingredients and the meats are all in there together. It's up to you whether to sort everything right away or just when you need them. Now, I'm a pretty neat person, so I decided to organize them ahead of time. And here's something I really liked. So the packaging is actually recyclable, and I liked what they did with the ice packs. You can recycle them or let them thaw and use the nitrogen-rich gel for your plants. It's a smart, sustainable way to handle the gel packs. And as far as I know, Blue Apron is the only meal kit delivery service doing this with their ice packs. Okay, so how much does it all cost and what are the different plans? So for their standard meals, you're looking at somewhere between $8 and $12.50 per serving. It works out like most meal delivery services. The more servings you order, the less it costs per serving. For instance, if you add in the shipping, which is $11, the highest you'll pay per serving is about $15 for 2 meals with 2 servings each, while the cheapest is around $8.50 per serving for 5 meals with 4 servings each. Now, when it comes to the premium recipes, these cost a bit more, anywhere between $14 and $20 per serving. And that's because these dishes tend to have fancier ingredients and are more about teaching advanced cooking. But the good part about Blue Apron is that they offer lots of meat and seafood options without the extra premium cost. So you're getting solid value for your money there. And if you're thinking about trying Blue Apron, you can check out the link in the description for a special discount that's even better than what they offer on their website. Now, as much as we've liked using Blue Apron, there are a few reasons you might want to consider other options. First off, if you're dealing with serious food allergies, Blue Apron might not be the best fit. They don't have specialized facilities to handle severe allergies, which is pretty common among meal kit services. If that's a big concern for you, I'd suggest checking out services like Nutrilife or Vistro. Next, you might want to check out Home Chef if you do not care too much about organic or high quality ingredients, or if saving money is more important to you than the perfect taste. Their meals are still tasty, just not quite at Blue Apron's level, but they come at a more budget-friendly price. It's a good pick for those wanting to save a bit but still enjoy cooking at home. Lastly, if your main thing is wanting quick and easy recipes, or if you need a wider range of vegan options, HelloFresh could be up your alley. They offer a wider selection and simpler meals, which might suit your needs better. So after trying out Blue Apron, would I recommend it? Definitely. And that's because Blue Apron isn't just about delivering meals. It's an entire culinary journey. You get to enhance your cooking skills, experiment with new tastes, and bypass the hassle of finding recipes or shopping for groceries. Now, what really makes Blue Apron shine, in my opinion, is their commitment to high-quality organic ingredients. The recipes are straightforward and ideal for beginners, yet the final dishes are so flavorful and they feel like restaurant quality meals. Blue Apron has also added more items to their list. Whether you're into adventurous, exotic dishes or looking for something simple and family-friendly, they've got you covered. They've got even these tasty, ready-to-heat options for those extra busy days. For my wife and me, Blue Apron has been a game changer. It's the one meal kit service that consistently offers dishes we both enjoy. We've tried others, but we always find ourselves coming back to Blue Apron. So, as you can see, it's not just about the food tasting great, which it does. It's about how each meal leaves us feeling satisfied and healthy. Plus, cooking these meals together has been a fantastic experience for us, like a fun culinary journey right in our home kitchen. So whether you've never tried a meal kit service before, or you've been through a few and haven't found the right one, I'd say give Blue Apron a try. It's one of those rare finds that have truly enhanced our dining at home. And if you decide to try it, I'm looking forward to hearing about your experience. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments down below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.